Hi, this is Michael Guest. Just a quick follow-on to the previous screencast where we looked at creating long duration time instruments to average the values over a long part of the recording or the duration of a recording. And if you recall, the way to get values, of course, we just right-click on the scale legend, show values, and wherever the cursor is, we'll get values that are appropriate to that particular trend. In this case, we have amplitude, heart rate, z-scores, peak frequency, and of course rhythmicity. We see the peak rhythmic frequency, and the amplitude of rhythmic components. But what we were looking at is doing relative delta theta alpha beta. So we have a trend, 8-second epochs in this case, measuring that. And the question is well, how do we get the values for this over a period of time? And so created some time trends. There's just resizing things to get my screen legend on there. 1200 second relative delta theta alpha beta. So now if the recording is less than that duration, if we go into the time trend here, it's 1200 seconds, 20 minutes. If it's less than that, we can change the duration of it because if the recording doesn't go for that long, it can't calculate the average. So what we can do is just go into each one of these and set it to whatever we want, the appropriate number of seconds, and it'll update that. Now, there are operations with trends that can be done in a group fashion. Setting the time trends is not one of them at this point, so we have to go into each one and set that. So once you know what you want to have, you can change this and so forth. So I just go down the list and it changes the duration of the average to 800 seconds, and I click to the end here and I get the average value over that period of time. Now, I did this all directly from the trend preferences. It only applies to this record. And what it does is when I close the record, it'll save a copy of the MMX, which is the trend preferences, inside the recording. So if it was smith.eeg, it would save a smith.mmx file to that had all the parameters, including the ones that I just changed. If you want to make that a trend template, where it's going to save that for other applications, I just go into Modify Template mode, and I'm going to pick my delta theta alpha beta trend template, and it'll load up here. All right, then I go to Trends and pick the trend I want to modify, 1200 second. I'm going to make this something different. I can rename this if I want to, so I'm going to rename this to, let's say, 800 seconds or whatever I want, and then make the changes as appropriate. Just go to the Time tab and type in the value. There we go. And I could just go down the trends and make the change to each one of these. And like I said, at this point, those sorts of operations aren't ganged across trend channels. There are things that you can apply to multiple operations in that case, but you go down the list and then you'd save preferences, trend preferences, and we click Save As, and we're going to call this 800 second. So, which then has the question, well, how do we know how long the recording is? Well, in particular recording, you click the Patient tab and you get information about this recording, and here it's 15 hours long, so we're well above that. You can also click the EEG page, and in addition to the times at the bottom, you can modify those times. And I'd previously modified this to seconds recorded and no date, because normally you have clock time, day 1, day 2, or the date. And you can see this updates this way. So we're at 18:58:30 at that point in the middle. But again, if you want to see elapsed seconds, you can just jump to the end of the recording if you want to see it in elapsed seconds. And go ahead and click this, click None, and format it however you want, either in minutes and seconds, or of course you can just show it in seconds. And that's that. So we can see the number of seconds in a recording. We can jump to it in elapsed time format. And for our trends, we can modify those to have the number of seconds we want to have averaged. We can save those and apply to other recordings as well. And that's that. And I went ahead and changed the trend title. But main thing is that if I'd set 1200 seconds, the recording has to be at least 20 minutes long, or it doesn't have enough data to average. And of course, we can shorten that and set that to whatever we want. Hope that's helpful. Any questions? Always happy to connect by web conference. Have a great day.